The Apple Evolution by Kelly Tynan, Anton Trafimovich, Jasmine Walker, Mackenzie Sumter, Jesse Piper, and Joey Winberg.
Why is Apple called Apple? When Steve Jobs was trying to come up with a name for the computer company, he was on a fruit-only diet and said that if no one came up with a better name, then he would call the company Apple. No one came up with a better name. Here is the first Apple computer created by Steve Jobs in 1976. In 1984, Apple came out with a revolutionary Macintosh computer. Here's a commercial that made Apple history.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification directives. You created for the first time in all history a garden of pure ideology where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests, obeying contradictory thoughts. Unification of the laws is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people. One will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
PR firm Chad Day created the commercial based on Orwell's 1984 novel. A Big Brother character shown on the screen in the commercial symbolized Microsoft, while an athlete was a symbol of Apple. Thus, Apple was showcased as a tool to combat conformity. Although the majority of the board didn't find it attractive, the commercial was run on January 22 during the Super Bowl. The viewers were overwhelmed by the startling ad. The ad generated millions of dollars worth of free publicity.
The next year, Apple appealed to its audience with the Lemmings commercial. Although the Lemmings commercial was similar to 1984, it turned out to be a failure and insulted potential customers. The ad offended many of the business people Apple was trying to court with the Macintosh Office and resurgent Macintosh. Both 1984 and the Lemmings commercials were endorsed by Steve Jobs. However, the Lemmings failure caused Jobs to quit Apple for the next 11 years. The Chiat Day PR firm, the same firm that had handled Apple's PR previously, was also fired after Jobs had resigned. Apple then switched to conventional marketing campaigns for the next decade. In 1990, Apple started the What's Your PowerBook campaign. Print ads and commercials featured celebrities describing how the PowerBook helps them in their business and everyday life.
Products that have failed when Steve Jobs left for 11 years, 1985 to 1996. The Macintosh Portable, 1989. The Apple Newton, 1993. Did you know that the iPhone wasn't Apple's first phone? The Motorola Rocker failed in 2005 under Steve Jobs.
Next, we're going to talk about the Think Different campaign. In 1997, the end was near for Apple. They were supposed to claim bankruptcy. However, the Think Different campaign was launched. With Steve Jobs' passion for creativity and design, he took a simple idea and turned it into an epidemic. After the campaign launched, Apple stock prices tripled within a year, and the ads went into multiple awards, including several Commercial of the Year titles for the Crazy One spot. Some of the celebrities that were featured in the commercial were Albert Einstein, Amelia Earhart, Bob Dylan, Dalai Lama, and Eleanor Roosevelt. The following three products are extremely successful through the Think Different campaign.
The original iMac, 1998.
Power Macintosh, 1999. The iBook, 1999. The iPod campaign, 2001. Apple introduced its first MP3 player. This product was the first to have a solid white design that made them stand out from their competitors, and it's still popular today. They maintain the simple design for all their products, which make them look chic.
And finally, we will analyze the Get a Mac campaign.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC. Hey, Mac, did you hear the good news? Windows 7 is out, and it's not going to have any of the problems my last operating system had. Trust me.
I feel like I've heard this before, PC.
What? Windows Vista's here, and it's not going to have any of the problems that Windows XP had. It's not going to have any of the problems that Windows ME had. It's not going to have any of the problems that Windows 98 had. It's not going to have any of the problems Windows 95 had. It's not going to have any of the problems Windows 2 had. Trust me. This time it's going to be different. Trust me.
Apple introduced a series of commercials comparing Mac to PC, where an older man represented PC and Mac was a young, relaxed, cool guy. The Get a Mac campaign started in 2006 and ran until 2009. Word of mouth is the most effective form of advertising that Apple has. They are great at creating buzz about their new products, such as the iPad.
Current Apple advertising. If you don't have an iPhone, you don't have an iPhone. Apple focuses on advertising each product individually and keeps them really simple.
I decided to buy a Mac because all my friends had Macs and I really liked the way they worked, and I think it's a lot easier to use and a lot quicker, and I really think they're a lot of fun.
A lot of my friends had it, and I messed around on theirs a lot to see if I wanted to pay what the Apple was selling it for, and I definitely thought it was worth it. So my friends talked me into it.
Right before I left for college, my sister recommended getting a Mac because she said Macs never get viruses and they seem to work better, and I haven't had any problems, so glad I did.
And I'm kind of the same with Kara. I just heard a lot of great things about Macs, and I heard they last forever. So that's why I got one.
Okay. But I really do want an iPhone because everybody else kind of has one, and I feel a little bit left out. And it's like the same with the Mac computer. Because when they're in class, when people are in class and they're taking notes and stuff, I have to take notes on my big Dell computer, and I just feel a little bit awkward because everybody else has a Mac computer and I just want a Mac.
Okay, so what features about Mac make you interested in purchasing the product?
Yeah, and I like having just, before that I had the little like Razr phone, and that was kind of a joke, so I finally upgraded, and it's nice having like email and things and just the benefits of that.
I had a BlackBerry before my iPhone, and I had an iTouch, and I brought my iTouch with me everywhere I brought my phone, so I figured I should just convert to an iPhone. Yeah, and my family has an iPad, and we just use it to play around on. And I like having the cloud with like my iPhone and my Mac, so every time I take pictures, I write it on my computer, so I like that now that I have both of them. I was the only one of my friends that had a PC, and everyone else had a Mac. Like mine was like a dinosaur compared to theirs.
Carrying around this huge like brick thing.
Yeah, and I always had to have mine like.
I would say I probably see.
I'd say in the library now I see no Macs.